Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And there it is. We knew this was probably going to happen. Snoop Dogg has to walk back his criticism of Lightyear. He has to apologize. He has to go on the apology tour. And we're going to talk about that. And then we're going to talk about one of the many writers of Lightyear being like, Snoop needs to educate himself.
Of course.
So for those of you who don't know, part one of the Snoop saga was Snoop took his grandkids to go see Lightyear. They had the gay family, the two ladies with the baby, and the grandkid kept asking how two ladies make a baby. And he's like, I didn't want to have to explain any of that to my grandkids going to a Disney movie. He was on a podcast. He got the sound bite. And then it's all over the internet, and now everybody's like, Snoop Dogg's a damn bigot.
No, he just said what most parents were thinking. And here's the thing, too, because even if you are, that's just because you don't want to talk about it with your kids at a Disney movie doesn't make you anti-anything. Parents will deal with things when it comes to maybe their children were awfully young and they didn't think it was a time to bring it up. Who the hell knows? Yeah. That's their responsibility, their job, not yours. But beyond that, it's like, I would argue that a hell of a lot of people felt that way, or Lightyear would have done a lot better. Now, I honestly don't think that was the biggest detriment to Lightyear. I think the fact that you have a movie about Buzz Lightyear that wasn't Buzz Lightyear was probably a big part of it.
Yeah.
But if people didn't take their kids there, and people were upset about that. I remember seeing articles on it. It wasn't just a Snoop Dogg problem.
No. No, Lightyear was a massive underperformer, and it was a Toy Story spinoff. It should have been money in the damn bank. It should have been a massive movie, and it could have been a massive movie if it had been the movie that Andy would have actually watched in the 90s.
If it was more Star Command and less what that was.
Yeah.
You probably would have okay. That being said, I don't think that was the big detriment to it compared to not having Tim Allen and not being Buzz Lightyear. But there were people that were upset about it, and I think that people didn't go because of that. This is coming off the heels of Strange World, which also had similar issues, and people didn't go. They had to walk back, Inside Out 2, because I guess they had put things in there to imply stuff, and they told them no. They had to make it less gay, quote unquote. They had to walk back Elio. They had to walk back, some of their TV shows and things like that, because you could be pissed all you fucking want all day long, and you can scream bigot all day long. I don't really care. The point of the matter is that a lot of people just did not want to deal with that kind of thing in a kid's movie, because for whatever reason, as a parent, it was something that they didn't want to deal with. I think had Snoop Dogg had heads up on it, he might have handled it differently. I think it was he that really knew it was coming, or he could have, prepared for it, but he didn't. It caught him off guard.
Yeah, so that's the problem when you go on the podcast and you get too comfortable, is you get caught off guard, you get too comfortable, you think you're talking to a friend or whatever, and then there's sound, next thing you know, there's sound, clipping the sound bites is making the way around.
I don't know if they did, but somebody did, yeah.
Somebody did, like, the audacity, how very dare he.
Because, it's accept us, but we don't have to accept you kind of mentality. But it's like, look, it is what it is. You don't have to like it, but the majority of people are in the middle. A lot of parents don't want their kids going to movies that are dealing with sexuality in general.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Go out to Kickstarter. You've got 10 days yet. Geeky Sparkles presents Glow and Goals retro enamel pins. You guys are awesome. She's doing really well on these. She designed these pins herself. They have glow-in-the-dark elements, and we're going to try to flip this campaign as fast as possible so you guys can get these in time for Halloween. So thank you very much for the support.
Yes, thank you.
Out on Kickstarter. So let's talk about this. I wonder if his grandkids ever ask him why everybody's making jokes about him smoking certain things.
I don't know.
Why there's like pot leaves on all the Snoop merch. I don't know. It's just lettuce, kids. It's lettuce.
It's herbs.
Herbs. Yeah, there you go. Herbs and spices. This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. Snoop Dogg addresses backlash over his criticism of LGBTQ representation in Lightyear. I'm not perfect. Translation.
It wasn't criticism. It was just like, I wasn't expecting to see that in a Disney movie.
Yeah.
Honestly, if it would look like a good movie and our kids were little, we would have taken them to see it.
Yeah,
because, we're not like that.
It's not a fun movie.
That's just it. If it had
It's
been
a
a fun
bleak movie. It's
if
like
it had been if the kids were younger and it had been a fun movie and it had been with Tim Allen, even if I knew about that scene, I would have still taken the kids because we've never been like, oh my God, how dare you kind of thing. So it wouldn't have bothered us in that regard. But I
just would have been like adopted, moving on.
Yeah,
eat your
yeah.
popcorn.
It's like, I just don't understand. But I can understand why parents. I can understand why parents are like, what the heck is this, a Disney movie? And I get it.
I think it's because it's not just a one-off. I think it's if it had been just a one-off, like okay, here's what's going on. We'll sit down, we'll talk about it. But the problem is that Disney for the last half a decade has been hammering home the message so hard that parents now are suspect of, and even if it's relatively innocuous, like, hey, we got two moms or whatever, not a major plot point or whatever. Parents have their backs up now because Disney has made itself into kind of like parental enemy number one.
But the parental police.
The parental police.
These animation people like from Pixar are like the parent police.
And
like,
parents
whatever.
and then we had the whole thing in Florida, and then we had parents trying to push back and being like, we have a right to parent our kids. We can't trust our kids with Disney anymore because we don't know what they're going to be showing our kids. And we've seen this time and time again, even in the live action series and stuff like that, but a lot of it's been kind of quarantined to YA stuff. And now it's kind of creeping into the,
well, that's just it too. When if it's for an older kid audience, like you're talking like 13,
Andy Mack,
14,
I can
15
get,
and up. That's fine because there's kids who are at age they can understand it. I'm talking about ones that are geared to like families or little kids. That's when it's more of a. But anyway, they all were mad because I guess Snoop Dogg's one of the judges on The Voice now, and
they're trying to get him canceled.
They were trying to get him canceled, which we knew was going to happen because these people cannot stand. And you accept everything about everybody I like, or you're a terrible person. And even didn't say he was against it. He just said he wasn't expecting it in a Disney movie, and it kind of threw him for a loop. And he didn't know how to answer his grandson because his grandson wouldn't stop asking.
Yeah, so that's just it. And we know how it is with kids. Like, you're kind of like, just shut up and watch a movie, shut up and watch a movie, shut up and watch a movie. But yeah, somebody called him out on Instagram, and he commented, he said, all my gay friends know what's up. They've been calling me with love. My bad for not knowing the answers.
They're probably like, oh, you stepped in it, dude. Sorry.
Yeah. It's not my bad for not knowing the answers for a 6-year-old. Teach me how to learn. I'm not perfect.
Well, that's a fair answer.
That's a fair answer.
And
if he's got a lot of gay friends that they know him, they know what he's like. As they say, they know your heart.
He have no gay friends because he hates gay people. Clearly,
I know, right?
For fuck's sake!
I mean, that'll be the next thing. Like, well, you need to educate yourself. Well, speaking of which, now we have okay. So this is Lauren Gunderson. Here who looks very much like she works in the modern animation industry, whatever. Mm-hmm. They're spinning it like she was the sole screenwriter of the movie, though. She said she does not regret writing the scene. So she wrote this scene. Shocker.
I'm sure, of course she did.
After Snoop Dogg's response that the character needed a partner and it was natural to write she instead of he. I knew the impact it could have. I'm proud to infinity. Love is love. So, I mean, again, did this serve... I'm just saying, like, I don't care. I don't care as much as some people do, but I'm like, did it serve the story? Isn't the story supposed to be about Buzz Lightyear and Star Command and adventure? It's just like, oh no, I had to put this in there for the representation.
Yeah, but here's the thing. She wasn't even the main writer. She was that additional scripting by. This is her credits. She has like
literally the
credits.
last person on the list of many, many people.
Additional, basically she's added some extra stuff to it, but her credits include like 3 or 4 things, and that's it. Like, why were you letting this person write on it anyway?
Is that the only part she wrote? Because it's like it's there's not much going on here. So, but everybody's like running with that now. They're like, Lightyear writer is going after Snoop Dogg. Oh my god!
She isn't the writer of Lightyear. She was like, she gave additional stuff to it. She gave additional things. So now she's trying to use this to leverage herself. Yeah. So yeah, that's exactly what it is about. A Lightyear writer, one of many, and that was a big problem with the movie. And the last one listed.
The last one, the writer who is dead last on the list of writers, is defending her work to infinity and beyond in the wake of Snoop Dogg's criticism.
Who did very little. is, did additional material provided by.
Okay, they're going on Threads. Okay, let's see here. Lala tells a story. Oh my God. Thread incoming. Okay, so let's see what they have.
We have to go through all this, do we?
No. I'm private. I was one of a few writers they had on over the years, which is very common for screenwriting. So yeah, I'm sure people are like, yeah, yes, you were like dead last.
Additional stuff added. So wait, you're one of many and you're the one that added this. So was that tell me that it wasn't like that until she added it?
I had very little to do with the final script, but I was proud to see a happy queer couple even for a few seconds on screen. I know they got a lot of shit for this, but stuff like this matters because beautiful love like this exists. But it's a Buzz Lightyear movie. What is fiction is Zurg and lightspeed space travel, murderous aliens in a talking robot car or cat. I'm sorry. Yeah, you can tell. Maybe it was supposed to be a car at first, and then they changed it. They cut it out. They said, no, cats are funnier. God, it just goes on. So this is basically somebody who had a lot of their stuff cut from the movie, but this scene
they contributed very little.
Very little, being like, yeah, there we go. God forgive me. I'm not trying to be that guy, but thick rimmed glasses, pink hair, no regrets for somebody that calls Disney billions. Again, that's not the only reason. If it was actually a Buzz Lightyear movie that Andy would have watched, there wouldn't have been issues. But you've got people just trying to glom onto it now. Like, I wrote that scene. I'm super proud of the representation.
But then they said that one thing and then walked it back. Well, I gave some information. Well, which is it?
Yeah. So that's like, look, this is not to be that guy, but this is part of the reason that they're having the problems they're having at Disney Pixar. We talked about in other videos that people want to put themselves into these movies because they know it's a big platform. And she basically let slip. I knew it was a big platform. I knew what kind of impact it would have. This is what
I hurried and did it because, and Pixar especially is where you're finding all these people.
Right. And there's not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's like, look, this first and foremost needs to be a Buzz Lightyear movie about Buzz Lightyear for kids, for general audiences. And the biggest sin of the movie is it's boring as fuck and it has nothing to do with Buzz Lightyear.
I know. I think that's the main reason why it failed.
I think that they're maybe going to hopefully learn for Toy Story 5 and be like, because they have like a whole army of Buzz Lightyears in Toy Story 5, be like, no, you need to bring like proper Buzz back because you've destroyed the Buzz Lightyear brand. And Buzz Lightyear was one of those things that was evergreen for Disney. Like, people would buy Buzz Lightyear toys and action figures and stuff, even if they didn't really care for Toy Story. It was like huge for years, for decades, 30 years. People buy Buzz Lightyear stuff. The Lightyear toys based on this movie were on clearance almost as like a week or two after the movie came out.
Yeah, it was fast. I mean, I think they were delayed a little bit. They came out, like, the movie got probably delayed a little bit because of the pandemic, so the toys were still in production. So they were out before the movie, but they were gone. Like, I mean, they were on clearance.
So good luck with that. But there we go, guys. Snoop Dogg has to, he didn't really walk out. He's just kind of like, yeah, well, whoopsie dipsy. We'll see if he gets it. Yeah, pretty much. I think 2025, it's just kind of like, oh, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Okay, we're over it. Goodbye. We're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.
For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.